What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. We got breaking news. The WBC has suspended Dillian Whyte interim champion status and his mandatory position for the WBC title. Again, the WBC has suspended Dillian Whyte interim champion status and mandatory position for the WBC. You know, a lot of people saw this coming from a mile away, and I did too. We saw this coming due to the adverse finding of a sample A test that the UK had administered to Dillian Whyte. It came up with adverse findings. You know, that's basically saying it came up positive in the test. You know, they're still waiting on the results for the B sample. But again, they suspended Dillian Whyte. You know, they say during this process they will allow Dillian Whyte to provide evidence and stuff like that to the WBC, because they're gonna have an investigation hearing. So he'll have a time to bring in appropriate evidence and exculpatory evidence to that hearing to bring in front of the hearing to advocate his innocence in this situation. If he does have that evidence, I doubt he does, but they say he will be able to bring evidence, any information, any material available to the investigation hearing to prop up and have for his on his side for evidence as far as his innocence. So we'll see what happens, man. But again, the WBC has suspended Dillian Whyte. You know, Eddie Hearn, I said this in other videos, Eddie Hearn has got a big problem now. You know, he's more than likely is not going to, is going to end up getting some kind of suspension due to this, and he's going to, they say his position is being suspended. I think he'll end up getting dropped in the rankings, WBC rankings. I don't think they'll rank him after this is all said and done. And I just think it's a tough situation, man. Again, man, he was looking small picture. You know, Dillian Whyte is his number 2 cash cow behind AJ. And, they putting on a big pay-per-view fight over there in the UK against Oscar Rivas. He had Derek Chisora as a co-main event fighting Arthur Spilker, and then he had David Price on the undercard versus David Allen. So he had a good UK domestic level card over there. And what he should have did was when he should have pulled Dillian Whyte from the from the card. Once he found out that he had tested positive for the 2 banned substances, he should have pulled him from the card and elevated Derek Chisora. You could have Derek Chisora fighting Oscar Rivas, would have been a good fan-friendly fight, and you could have petitioned WBC to make Oscar Rivas, still get the mandatory if he prevails over Derek Chisora. I don't think Derek Chisora is ranked in the WBC. He might be ranked, but he's ranked. If he is, he's ranked lower. So if he's ranked in WBC, you could have said, well, if he wins, he would get the number 1 position too. If he wins, along with if Oscar Rivas wins, he gets the mandatory position. Or you could have just said if he's not ranked in the WBC, then you could have just made it where if Oscar Rivas wins, he's got the mandatory spot, and if Derek Chisora wins, also he'll get a high ranking in the WBC based on beating Oscar Rivas, who's high ranked in the WBC, but not necessarily the number 1 mandatory position. That's what they could have done. Could have did that. Saved the card. Derek Chisora is very well known over there in the UK. Been in a lot of big fights. He fought Vitaly Klitschko, fought Dillian Whyte twice, fought Tyson Fury twice, fought David Haye. Guy's very well known, man. He put up a good fight, arguably beat Dillian Whyte in the first fight, and then lost to him late in the second fight when he was ahead on the cards. And I thought he got the short end of the stick as far as the refereeing goes. But anyway, he lost that fight very competitively. So I think he should have just did that. He could have saved himself one big headache. Now he's looking at his number 2 cash cow being on the shelf and losing his mandatory position for Deontay Wilder. So that's the decision he made, thinking small picture instead of big picture. Now it's going. I would look for them to really try to push for AJ to fight Andy Ruiz over there in the UK. And try to get those titles back. Because right now, if AJ loses to Ruiz in a rematch, they're persona non grata in the heavyweight division. Basically, you signing Huey Fury and these old mid-level, fighters that ain't gonna make no impact in the division. Huey Fury and Joseph Parker, Joseph Mr. Nice Guy Parker, and Huey Pillow Fist, Huey Pure Fist like my cousin Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you sign those guys. Them guys not gonna make no kind of impact. Them guys are just basically stepping stones and basically guys that you can put on decent fights in the UK. I heard they putting on Hewitt Fury versus Alexander Povetkin, not Povetkin, but Povetkin. Heard they finna put that on the zone card later on this year. So, and that's the type of fights you can really look for them guys to be put on. But them guys, you know, them guys can't beat the top two guys in my opinion in the heavyweight division. That's Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. You know, those guys, Joseph Parker, Hewitt Fury, can't beat those guys. So, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. And Daniel Dubois is the guy that's got a chance to maybe one day become a champion. He's aligned with Frank Warren. So Eddie Hearn's in a tough spot, man. So I would look for him to really push for that fight to be in the UK. Andy Reid said he's not gonna go over there due to the Dillian Whyte PED situation and stuff like that. He doesn't feel like he's gonna get treated fairly over there. And he thinks it's a setup, so he's not gonna go over there. So it's gonna be interesting to see. They're gonna you know, I would assume Eddie really try to get that fight over there and get the stuff lined up in favor of AJ. You know, he'll have those shady commissions and shady drug commissioners over there and drug testing over there, where he can kind of get away with AJ getting the exemption for those banned substances over in the USA, but it's not banned over in the UK. Getting those exemptions and stuff like that, they'll be able to let all that slide over there in the UK that they couldn't let slide in the USA. So they'll be looking to you know, stack the deck in AJ's favor. You know, like they've done in his previous fights, and they'll be looking to do that again to try to get those titles back in the UK. So we'll see what happens, man. But that's the breaking news, man. Tyson Fury. My bad, what I'm saying about Tyson Fury. Dillian Whyte has been suspended, has had his interim champion status suspended and his #1 mandatory position suspended. And they'll be having a hearing. The WBC will be having a hearing, which Dillian Whyte will have to show up, or at least have some of his representatives show up and present alternative evidence that's presuming his innocence. With alternative evidence, you know, evidence in their favor, to say that to go against the evidence and the findings of the WBC in this PED situation, and they'll be able to come with a defense to try to explain away why Dillian Whyte failed a PED test for 2 substances, and why he had gloves on, why he switched the gloves on right before the fight and didn't allow his opponent representatives to inspect those gloves. He'll have to answer to those questions. So we'll see what happens, man. But that's what it is, man. That's what it is. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.